Number 10. The Dybbuk Box. The Dybbuk Box was found by a married couple who were looking for an antique to restore. They found this old wooden chest in an antique store and it only cost them $40. But once they brought the box home, strange things began to happen. At first, these events were small, like random objects being moved around the house or whispers in the middle of the night. Then things escalated when they opened the box. As soon as they opened it up, the room temperature dropped dramatically and they could smell something decaying. And that's when they learned the name of the box, the Dybbuk Box. In Jewish folklore, a Dybbuk is an evil spirit that possesses people, and it seems this box was used to imprison one. It is now known as the most haunted object in the world. No. 9, the ghost camera. A young woman named Helen Acton took her own life in 1861 after the loss of her newborn baby. A century later, her ghost is still haunting her former home, taking pictures with the family's digital camera. The story comes from Cheryl and John Barber, who bought their Victorian-era home in Niagara in 2000. After moving in, strange things started happening, like footsteps in the attic and the smell of lavender. Then, one day while browsing through their photos on the computer, they noticed a white mist rising from the top of the stairs. When they took the camera to investigate, they saw a white mist on the stairs. But when the picture was taken, the apparition became visible, showing Helen standing at the top of the stairs. Since then, Helen has appeared in many of their photographs. Number 8. The Lady in Black. In 1835, Eliza F. Poe, sister of writer Edgar Allan Poe, died under mysterious circumstances in New York City. She was found dead in her room wearing her black dress, hence the name Lady in Black. Some say she was murdered by her husband. Others say she took her own life. There are even rumors that she was killed by her brother. But no one knows the real truth behind her death. Almost 2 centuries later, she is still haunting the city in the form of a shadow. Many have seen her walking down the streets of New York City, and some have even captured her image on their camera. Number 7. La Lorgnette. La Lorgnette is a French word meaning the lorgnette, which is an opera glass used to see things from far away. Well, this opera glass is rumored to be cursed. Its owner, Yvonne, was given the opera glass by her late grandmother, and ever since she's been seeing apparitions everywhere she goes. At first, she didn't believe in ghosts, so she tried to rationalize what she was seeing. But then she started hearing voices and smelling lavender, and that's when she knew it was no illusion. This opera glass is not just haunted, it's cursed. No. 6. The Cravath Black Veil. The Cravath Black Veil is an antique black silk veil that belonged to Helen Viola, a socialite from the early 20th century. Helen led a very lavish lifestyle, but unfortunately, she passed away in a freak accident. While walking down the stairs in her mansion, she tripped and fell over the banister. The impact was so great that she died instantly. Now, her ghost is haunting the Cravath Black Veil. Those who wear it claim to hear Helen's screams echoing in their ears, and when they look in the mirror, they see a transparent figure standing behind them. Number 5. The Yellow Wallpaper. The Yellow Wallpaper is a short story written by Charlotte Perkins Gilman about a woman who slowly descends into madness after being forced to stay in a room with hideous yellow wallpaper. But it turns out the story is actually based on a true event. Charlotte herself had to stay in a room with yellow wallpaper during her own battle with postpartum depression. And when she refused to give in to her husband's wishes to stay there longer, he wrote her a story about a woman who goes crazy after staying in a room with yellow wallpaper. Ironically, the story became famous, and her husband became successful off of it. But Charlotte never made a dime from it. No. 4. Demon Doll. The Demon Doll is the name given to a doll by those who witnessed the horror that unfolded after its arrival. It happened in 1971 when the Hell family moved into their new home. They had no idea they were bringing a demon with them. That's because the previous owner left the doll in the attic. Little did they know, this wasn't just any doll. It was a vessel for an ancient demon named Robert, As soon as the family moved in, strange things started happening, like disembodied voices and shaking beds. But they ignored it all until one day they heard footsteps in the attic. That's when they decided to take the doll downstairs and throw it in the trash. But before they could, the doll came alive and started moving on its own. It stared at them with its glowing red eyes, and that's when they knew they needed to get rid of it fast. They threw it in the trash, but every time they looked, it was back in the house. Eventually, they called an exorcist who drove the demon back into the doll. The exorcist took it and threw it in the river. It hasn't been seen since. No. 3. Mary Celeste. Mary Celeste is the name of a ship that was found abandoned in 1872. The ship was discovered off the coast of Italy with no crew on board. The only thing that was different was the ship's log, which said everything was fine. So where did the crew go? Well, no one knows. Ever since, people have been trying to solve the mystery. One of the most popular theories is that the crew was abducted by pirates, but there's no evidence to support this. Others say the crew deserted the ship, but if that were true, why would they leave the ship's log? To this day, the ship remains a mystery, and it's believed that the spirits of the crew are still on board. Number 2. The Ghost Ship. In 1853, the Ghost Ship, also known as the Mary Celeste, set sail from New York to Genoa, but it never arrived. The ship was found abandoned 3 weeks later with no crew on board. The only person on the ship was a cat, which stayed on board until it died of starvation. What happened to the crew? Well, we don't know for sure. But one thing is certain, the captain's wife was never informed of the voyage. He simply left one day without telling her where he was going. When his wife finally received news of the ship, she went to the nearest church and prayed that her husband was safe. But little did she know, he was already dead. No. 1. The Haunted Painting. This painting is known as the most haunted object in the world. It shows a man standing next to a tree with a lake in the background. But the scary part is not what you think. You see, the man in the painting is not just a character. He's a real person who lived 160 years ago. His name was Thomas P. 8 Moore, and he painted the picture himself, but before he could finish it, he died of a heart attack. And ever since, his ghost has been haunting the painting. Those who hang the painting in their home report strange occurrences like footsteps and shaking beds. But the scariest part is when they look in the mirror, they see the ghost of the painter standing right behind them. Which one do you think is the most haunted object in the world? Let us know your thoughts. And don't forget to subscribe.